Hello and welcome once again to Pale Blooms and Beyond. Thank you for joining us today. If you do like the programming you see here, the musicians and artists that I visit with, please be sure and hit the like button below and also subscribe to the channel. Brian Farrell is an English singer, songwriter, and guitarist who was an original member of Liverpudlian psych rock band Colonel Bagshot, also known as Colonel Bagshot's Incredible Bucket Band. The band formed in the late 60s as a six-piece and eventually pared down to the four-piece, which included Brian on vocals, guitar, stylophone, Ken Parry, vocals, guitar, keyboards, Dave Dover, vocals, bass, keyboards, and Terry McCusker, vocals and drums. The unit recorded and released a few singles and an album during the period 1969 to 1973. The album 1971's Oh, What a Lovely War includes the band's most recognized track, 6-Day War. In recent years, the track has taken on a life of its own, being remixed and sampled by various artists. And the album has been reissued several times over the years, the latest back in 2022. In the past few years, Brian has recorded some songs, which you can check out on his YouTube channel. Well, welcome, Brian.
Welcome, Greg.
Thank you for taking time out to visit and be with me today. Well, take us back to the beginning. Were you born in Liverpool?
Yep, born and bred. Well, I mean, I've moved around Liverpool a few times, but yeah, I was born in a district called Old Swan, and I've moved up since then. We went to Chilwell first, which used to be very, the way districts change over the years. One
Yes.
slum becomes very trendy and so on and so forth. Yeah, but I'm still here now, clinging in.
I'm a local son myself, in and around Dallas my whole life. I lived for a short period in San Antonio, but always in Texas. Well,
San Antonio, the Alamo, is that?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
So
Yes,
sorry to be negative, Greg, but I thought it was disgusting what they'd done with that. It's like a
yes,
Woolworths opposite or something, isn't it? In a
yes,
shop. I
yes,
mean,
it
I thought it
is.
would have been sacred to you.
Right, it is. Yes, it is. Well, do you recall your early childhood growing up as far as like hearing music in the household?
Oh, well, this is an immediate yarn that comes to mind is like my mum and dad were not professional dancers, but that's how they met. They were big deal ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
And so they weren't really into music, but they had a zillion 78, the shellac records. I mean,
Yes.
a zillion of them. But even then, time had started moving on. And me and the younger sister had many sessions of just smashing the records over each other's heads.
Did
not,
you?
not very musical, but what an introduction to music. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you weren't going to harm anyone. It wasn't going to cut their heads on that, but it's great sound.
To hit them on the head. I
Great.
remember. I remember my dad had a hi-fi, and he had 78s too. The type
Yeah.
where you could stack three or four on there, and they would drop down. Yeah,
Mm?
right, and play, and then the
Yeah,
next one. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember that very very well. Well,
just a little bit after that, Greg. I my first thing of buying a record, the first I didn't buy it for me, I bought it for the same sister, but it was Eddie Cochran's "Summertime Blues." Now,
okay.
oh, if I had that now,
Yes,
we
yes,
worth a fortune. And it
right.
disappeared. We didn't break that over each other's head. But,
No,
things just disappear like one sock and things. Because she hasn't got it, I haven't got it. We never broke it, but I
yeah,
wish I had that. Because I mean,
right.
the Who covered it since, didn't they? In the
Oh,
70s.
yes, yes, he was exactly. Wow, wow. Well, you talked about your parents, their history. Do you think you got some of the musical gene was passed down? Yeah.
It's very, very debatable because I was. They always refer. You see, I was the first one to break the dancing chain. I mean, my
Okay.
two elder sisters, they all went to this main Liverpool dancing school, and I was the first bad boy, really. I mean, I've been a bad boy from the absolute outset. I mean, at school, I didn't even finish. I went to a grammar school, which was a good thing, and I didn't even finish the term of thing. In fact, we got one of my trophies, a badge of honor for a bad boy. It's a bill from the local education committee for £10 for wasting a grammar school place.
Is that right?
Anybody else would be ashamed of that. But like for me, it's a badge of honor.
It's a badge.
By then, you see, I'd started going to the cavern.
Okay.
Because of my younger of the two sisters. I mean, see, society's changed so much. I was 12 when I was going to the cavern.
Wow. Yeah, that's young. That's young. Well, do you want to tell briefly the story of meeting George Harrison and Paul McCartney?
Well, that again, you see, is because of the youngest. I mean, I was the baby, but I'm still the baby brother.
You always will be. You always will be.
Baby. But like, because of her, I went there. I mean, I'm very grateful for that. But before she got into the rock stuff, she was a big Cliff Richard fan. Would you know Cliff Richard?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And the Shadows.
Yeah, because over here, big, big.
Big time, big time.
In fact, they were the Beatles that was rebelling against all that had gone before. So he was the last of the before. But on the biggest theatre in Liverpool was the Empire, and she took me to see Cliff there. I was the only male for about 80 rows. I mean, when I say only male, I'd be 10 or something,
Yeah, yes.
Cliff. But yeah, so she was responsible for me going there, but we never went together. Because, when you're young, like at school, somebody who's a year older, it's older, isn't it? When you're dead young.
Oh,
and
yeah. And somebody
years,
that's in their 20s, they're ancient,
Yeah. On that one, Greg, I can remember jumping ahead a bit, but I remember thinking, I can't be in a group at 21.
Bro, yeah. That's
Old
over the hill, yeah.
A bit embarrassing that. But I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And we are still doing it. Yes, so Bernadette then, so she was living her own life, although we were both going there. She was living her own life, and the Beatle thing just started out the blue, because we were just at home when the family had moved up to Chilwell then, and I answered the door, and George Harrison's there, but it's not George Harrison to me. He's the bloke, It's just a fella come to see Bernadette. So, and you want to be big, then you don't act like a man. Yeah. Well, you better come in, mate. Yeah. And I took him in, but she was sitting in front of the old-fashioned hairdryer there. And in those days, you didn't want to be seen in your careless and that. I mean, there's how times changed. They go out to the shops and then now.
Yeah.
Well, in Liverpool, they do.
Yeah.
They go to the supermarket in Liverpool in all the curlers, the slippers, and the pajamas.
Yes.
In the afternoon.
Right. We have Walmart. Do you have Walmart there?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't.
We have equivalent. Yeah. People will go there in their robes and their pajamas, and just crazy. They have pictures,
Yeah. So I brought him in anyway, and of course she was like shrieking. He ran upstairs, and then she was really flustered. So she got him out the house and took him only up the road to the elder sisters. She's 9 years older than me. Okay. But they were recently married, so her and her husband, their house was just a bit better, because they were newly married. And you want to impress any new date, don't you, male or female? So she took him up there, and that brother-in-law had one of these things from the States, a Polaroid camera.
Yes,
like your latest iPhone,
Right.
So they took a photo there. But coincidentally, Greg, I've only recently found out that I thought that was it. Oh, and then a fortnight later, Paul McCartney came round. And for some bizarre reason, I can remember coat he had on. It was a shorty, black corduroy, thick black corduroy coat. And I thought that's cool. Because then you see, they didn't have boutiques and
Right.
shops for men's fashion. What's that? You know, so this was like, wow, that's really cool. But the main thing, the main yarn about that was my dad we had a pub just very near, and he came in. They used to close at 10 o'clock then, and he wasn't drunk, but you could tell he'd had a drink, you know. And he starts lighting the fire. Then it's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Maybe because he'd had a drink, he decided it's time to light the fire. So he gets Paul McCartney. We used to call it breezing the fire. You'd get a shovel, put it in front of the fire, and put a newspaper over it to cause the draft.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, and very, very frequently, I mean, anyone in England would identify with this. It'd catch fire because it would suck too hard, you know, which it did with McCartney. And
Yeah.
so I always say, you know, he's brilliant, a genius, and a billionaire, but he couldn't light our fire.
He couldn't light.
I've only found out very, very recently. I mean, a couple of months, because the sister and the husband had written a book about the Beatles story. And I only found out that Paul was first on the scene. Yeah. Apparently, in the book, it says that they'd left the cavern. I think there was 3 or 4 of them, mates. And Lennon and McCartney pulled up, Paul driving. And they pulled up, do you want to lift home? And so, yeah, they all got a lift home, but they dropped them off in order. And our Bernadette was the last one out, I think. And as she's going up the path, Lennon shouted to her, oh, Paul will be picking you up tomorrow night, 7:30 or something. He hadn't asked anything. He just said, I'll be picking you up. So that was the fair. I didn't know anything about that till a couple of months ago when I read it to my sister. But, you know, like families now, since my mum died, the family's really drifted apart. So I'm hearing things maybe, you know, not that much ahead of you. Yeah. So McCartney apparently was first on the scene, but it's all in the book, The Beatles story. There's a
Yeah.
for sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the Beatle connection.
Wow. Yeah. I just watched I think, is it on Amazon or is it Netflix? The Led Zeppelin one about how they started, how they began. Yeah. And that was pretty fascinating. I knew a lot of that history, but some of that was new to me. So, you know.
Well, we're waiting for it to come here, aren't we?
Oh, it hasn't come out here yet? Okay. I think it just recently came up here. So, yeah, do watch that. It was like, you know, I was wanting more. It only got up to like their second album, and I was wanting it to carry on through their, you know, current, but it just stopped at that point.
You know the way things change, Greg, and it shows how old you are. Yeah. I wasn't into them. And I remember when Hendrix first kicked off, I thought, crap, terrible. You were ahead of us, you say. So right. Like, you carve out your little niche. You know, Cliff was too corny. They were too, well, if he even had the term heavy metal then, but I wasn't into them.
Right.
You appreciate them that much more later, you know.
Right. Yes, they were talking about their early influences, and you know, of course, Jimmy played with everybody. You know, he was a studio, you know, session player, so you know, he played before. But anyway, moving on. Was the guitar, or what was the first instrument that you learned to play?
It was the guitar, yeah. And I can remember the guy that taught me my first 3 chords, and he was in between the Beatles and all the 80s Liverpool thing. There's been all these sections in Liverpool, bands from them, and they were maybe the first wave after the Beatles. There was like, for us, when the Cavern became popular, very snobby, we didn't want to know about it. It went downhill like that immediately. And we all the people that like to think they're cool, all moved to a place called Hope Hall, which was around the art school district. That's where the Liverpool scene came from. And the Roadrunners. Have you ever heard of the Roadrunners?
Yes, I have. Yes,
Yeah, well, especially the lead guy out of them, that was where it was at. We'd forgotten all that corny old you know. I mean, you're very pretentious, aren't you, when you're young, you know?
Well, yeah, you are, you know. I think that's typical, you know, when something becomes too popular, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, that's passe now. We need to find something new, you know, invigorating. Well,
the early thing when I was going to the cabin as a kid, and it was the bohemian thing. I mean, everyone was a weekend beat. You know, your skin tight corduroys, and there was, you thought you were being different. You were just following the trends, and your duffel coat. Does that mean anything to you? A duffel coat?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes,
well, that was your beatnik uniform, you know.
Yes.
And the stink of the cavern. You could tell when somebody else had been on the bus, the last bus home. You could smell the cavern off them.
Oh, right. It just kind of
a glamour, the discovery. But once it's been discovered, forget it. And you can't recreate it.
No, you
all
can't.
These things. I mean, the Beatles it's a moment in time. That's why you can't have another Beatles.
That's right.
No, it was that moment in time.
That's right. And a lot of these today, these tribute bands, I mean, every big band has a tribute band, you know, and it's just like, I think it's just going crazy. I think that there's just, you know, I don't follow any of those. And I think if you didn't get to see the original at the time when they were really, you know,
that moment,
that moment, then, you know, why do you want to recreate
bands as players, but they'll never be that.
No, it's not. It's not the original. No, it's not. No matter how much they sound like them, you know, it's not. But anyway, you're going to have to explain what a stylophone is now.
I will tell you more. Actually, the stylophone was advertised on RTV by a guy who was a big children's TV favorite called Rolf Harris.
Yeah.
Does that mean?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And recently,
Australian. Was he originally
Australian?
Australian.
He was. Yes. And recently he was done for paedophile thingies. In fact, there was a big scandal because of him and a DJ, a creep called Jimmy Savile. Did that ever come?
Yes.
Yes. Bad man. Right. But he got tied in with him. But on a brighter note, there's one very famous guy. I mean, it's dead embarrassing to have that stylophone credited, but I didn't put that in. They put that in. But there's one other guy who played stylophone on a big record, and he's a big name. Can you answer that, Greg?
That's the first time it's come up.
It's a solo guy.
Yeah.
It's a solo guy, and he went from the 60s right through. He died in the 90s, I think. And he created a fictional character, not a parody of himself, but he created called Ziggy Stardust.
Oh, okay.
Bowie on Space Oddity played stylophone.
Did he? Okay.
Thank God. Gives you a bit of credibility.
You know what? you know what? I fact checked you, and you are right. Well, notable artists include David Bowie. Okay.
Did you do that while I was saying it?
I didn't know that until you said that. I didn't know that. But you are right. You are correct. Yes. The Beatles also used a stylophone. It says with footage appearing in the Get Back documentary. Yes, it says that. Even John Lennon was recorded playing one during a rehearsal.
Really?
Yeah. How interesting. Yeah, this is the first time I've
John and David Bowie, you know.
Right. This is the first time I've heard of it. So wow.
Oh yeah. It is about that big, and it is just a set of flat piano keys, but they don't play. Just the thing, and you just touch them with you make the electrical connection, and you get that note.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But effectively, it's an electrical noise, so that's how you get the.
Oh, okay.
So you're literally making two contacts between.
Oh yeah, couldn't be more
Really
dated and more
basic.
crap if you
Yeah.
try.
I
But
see it.
you know, the album, the 6 Day War's taken off. The title track of that, it plays the riff all the way down.
I
Oh,
see. I
cringe.
see it here. It's like you could hold it in your hand. It's that
Yeah.
that small. Yes, yes. And here's a picture of Bowie on stage playing it, holding it up like this.
Wow. No,
Yeah.
that
Yes, yes. So your memories are right on. Okay, well, great. Now I know. Now I have been informed about a stylophone. Well, can you remember one of the first singles or albums that you bought yourself? Can you remember?
well, I mean, if you, as I said, but the first thing I bought was Summertime Blues, but I went downhill from there. I mean,
Okay.
through my very early teenage years, oh, I cringe at some of the things I bought now, like Poor Me, Adam Faith. I even bought something by a guy called Eden Kane. And I even bought I Sold My Heart to the Junkman by Lynn Cornell. Oh, I bought some terrible things, some bearable things like Nut Rocker, Be Bumble and the Stingers.
Oh yes, yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
My I'll have to tell you mine, and it's pretty cringeworthy. My very first two albums were. Do you remember the Royal Guardsmen that did the gimmicky Snoopy versus the Red Baron?
Yeah.
I had the Snoopy versus the Red
Thought you'd be
Baron.
able to get. You bought that in Texas.
Yes, yes.
I
And
wouldn't have
like a Kmart. We had a Kmart, and my mom would take me, and and I remember buying that one, and Snoopy for President was the other one. So they were very gimmicky, but they had some good songs on there. They also wrote themselves. So they were talented.
Greg, if you're talking cringing, I'm in the big league for cringing. Why I'm coming out with this, I'll regret this. After this is finished, Greg, be saying, why did I turn that? But this is a top cringer, this one. Oh God, they're all coming back now. There's quite a few of them. But my first recording thing with Bagshots, we were on our way to Munich. First time I'd been abroad, so it was a big deal thing. And it got this. People had picked up on this likeness to Joe Cocker, and somebody, the Edwin Hawkins singers, "Oh Happy Day."
Oh, Happy Day.
He
Oh,
wanted to do a cover of that.
yes,
So
yes.
we did it en route to Munich. We just sort of called in the studio, and they only wanted me just a voice. There was good people playing on it. And one of the backing singers was Madeline Bell.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And they just sort of said to me, oh, go in and sing that. And I mean, I was a kid. I had and my butt totally went. I was disgusting. I was bad, And I was so bad that they ended up putting me in the corridor to sing, so I wasn't in front of the others, so my nerves would stay together. There was people walking past me. Oh, it was. I don't know why I've told you that.
No. I was going to ask you about that. That was the band. That was the band's first single. That was the yeah. Oh,
that was 6-piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was the 6-piece. Yeah. So I was curious about why covering a soul track like that.
Yeah. I mean, trying to make feeble excuses. We knew nothing about it. So, I mean, to go in cold like that when you don't know the track and you're not doing it with people, you need a bit of experience behind you, and
yes.
I didn't.
Well, talk about some earlier influences that bands or artists that would influence the sound of Colonel Bagshot.
Oh well, all Liverpool was all the. I mean, in those days, it was good to get hold of records. See, now you can get anything you want, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, it was a little badge of honor if I've got so and so. I mean, even things that you think were easy to get. I remember getting Little Richard all around the world. I thought, whoa, great.
Yes.
I've
I've talked to several musicians that grew up in the same time period, and we echoed that sentiment that there was something special about that. Going, having to make the effort, like to go to the store, get the actual physical copy. Today it's too easy. We're too spoiled. But
and there's no buzz of that. Building your own speaker cabinets.
Right. Opening it, taking the plastic off, and then reading the liner notes, pulling it out, the physical copy of it. Yeah, it was special. It was an experience, what it was.
Yeah. So by having now, they're being deprived in a way, aren't they? Because there's no discovery. You can't discover anything.
No, you're right. You're right. Well, how did the band come together? Oh, first of all, let me ask you about the name. Where did the name Colonel Bagshot come from?
Well, Colonel, all those things that I was in then, maybe because I've got a big gob, I always end up picking the names. And that one, Colonel Bagshot, was the original. It sort of morphed out of a previous band called the Court. I mean, there's a guy around Liverpool called Tony Bolland. He does all history books of music in Liverpool, and he said, who's your biggest musical influence? I said, well, I think Dave Dover. It was the bass player in Colonel Bagshot, and he was the biz. And it's funny when and he was my best mate, apart from my parents and sisters, I'd known him longer than anyone. So he was a very special person. He died 18 months ago, something like that. But the band I was in before Bagshot was called Fagan's Cupboard, and we were playing on the same bill as them at a club in Liverpool. And he heard me doing our version of Try a Little Tenderness, the Otis number or Otis version, and he thought, I can see that. And he so he put the personnel of Colonel Bagshot together. So we had our first meeting, and the guitarist wasn't there. There's a Deg Fullwood, his name was. So I said, well, where's Deggies? This is our first meeting. And he said, he's gone shooting on the moors. That's very rock and roll, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I said, that's a great start, isn't it? We're all meeting for the fair, and Colonel Bagshot's gone off shooting on the moors. Hey, yeah. And then, then it was like the time of Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. So it did Colonel Bagshot's Incredible Bucket Band.
Yes.
But, you look back, and that quickly got dropped, the Incredible Bucket.
Yes, it's long. But you kept the Colonel Bagshot.
Yeah. And then we dropped down to 4 because we were still the Beatles were still a big thing, and there seemed to be a magic about the 4, like the Magnificent 7 and all these things that just click, and yes. 4 seemed sharper, and the kind of stuff we were into was changing. So that's how we ended up at that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you recall any of the early live gigs? Any of the early live shows?
Oh yeah. But I suppose maybe the first prestige thing we did was we did the very first Reading Festival, which before Glastonbury is the big one in England now, but Reading was the first one. We did the first one of that. But you see, in those days, like we were lucky enough to go do a few Hamburg trips, and still at the places where the Beatles played. In fact, like the Toilet Lady in the top 10 was still the one.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Mama Rosa, and they were. Oh, what a fabulous way to misspend your youth. And we did misspend. Really. That was, your sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That was when it was all written.
Yeah.
Fabulously. While we're in the cringing things, I'm only because I'm so reformed now. And well, I am really, So I'm a very good boy now. I've grown up a bit. But before I grew up, I was a pain. Oh, Jesus, I was a pain. And one that I cringe about now is we were doing a university gig with I know there was Vinegar Joe on, which was Robert Palmer, Elkie.
Yes, right.
There was who was the guy who did Fire? Da, 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 da. Arthur Brown, Crazy World of
Arthur Brown. Yes.
Shaking Stevens. There was a load in those days because they were into live music then.
Yeah.
Now you get one fella with a turntable.
Right.
And,
That's
but
what
then so there was all these bands on. This is all building up to my confessional. And so we're waiting in our band's room. It's just another room in the university, and they threw in a crate of ale for us. And so we're just sitting there waiting for the gig to get going. And this guy comes in and just takes one of our beers, doesn't even acknowledge us or anything. And being a very patient, well-mannered young man, I said, "Hey, bollocks, what's your problem?" So I wasn't that nice with him, to say the least. So that should have been the end of that. Meanwhile, our roadie had gone out and got fish and chips for everyone. So we're all sitting on the floor eating our fish and chips. And Elkie Brooks comes in. And she's grown up now. By the way, I think she's stunning. That's my apology before we get into it. I think she's stunning. But that was in her wild rock chick days. So this guy was in her band, went back and said, "Oh, I've just been a long day, and those Liverpool mates, it's given me all a bad mouth and all that." So she comes down to sort us out, So we're eating our chips. So she goes, "Hey, who the hell's bad mouthing thing?" So I just got up with me fish and chips, squashed them over the head and said, "Well, you can fuck off for starters." I cringe. Oh, you horrible creature. But it's too late when you've done it. All the apologies in the world don't wash.
Right.
But I must admit now, I wonder if she remembers that.
Yeah. Well, you had practice early on with the albums, cracking them over the head. So I wonder if she did. You never heard back from her about that?
No. I'll tell you, hearing back on one of those gigs with Hair. Do you remember the musical Hair? I went 11 times.
Oh, did you?
It really got to me. I loved it. So we came back with the big mouth again, and I got the band we ended up doing half the show Hair with the full kit, the script, everything, and half just like a normal rock band. So on this particular another university gig down south, on the way we'd collect props. I'd go in the fields and collect flowers and all that, knowing we'd need them for the show, So on this particular trip, two girls with two of the students, we enlisted them to help us collect all the flowers, So what are the mathematical odds of this? One of the girls got a job as Robert Stigwood. He's a big impresario with the rights for Hair.
Right.
We got Hair collecting the flowers.
He worked with the Bee Gees too, right?
That's right. Yep. Yeah. He managed them, I think, didn't he?
Yes.
So I don't know. A fortnight later, in fact, bizarrely enough, we found this yesterday, didn't we? Yeah.
Right.
From the solicitors saying, "We're on behalf of Robert Higwood. Stop doing that immediately, or we're going to sue you." All people in the UK, and we have to pick his secretary to collect flowers for us. All the mathematical odds.
Right.
I love that.
That's wild. That's wild.
But there was a guy in that got a job. Oh, well, hang on, Keith Hubbard, that you've already interviewed.
Yes, Keith, right.
He was in that.
Right.
Production, yeah.
Yes, he was. Yes.
And there was also a guy who ended up a bit of a TV star in England called Paul Barber.
Oh, yeah.
And he was from, the area I was in before here, a rough area. And he had this one line. In fact, I think he only had a couple of words. He's supposed to be from Los Angeles. And he comes and he says, "Don't knock it if you haven't tried it." House accent. Oh, yeah.
He couldn't hide the accent.
Well, there's more cringe. And I hope I never bump into him again. These scenes, because I was in a motorway cafe, 40 years later, something stupid like that. And he's on the next table. And oh, Big Mouth, I couldn't resist you. He goes, all right, Paul. He's like, and excuse me, who by then he was a thespian, and his diction had improved immeasurably.
Oh,
And
you do that so well. Yeah.
yes, yes. Go away, you silly, scruffy person. He didn't say that, but let's just say he didn't acknowledge me.
Right, that's what he meant. Yes.
You've got me in big trouble here. I won't be able to go out now.
Oh, right. You're going to be, you're going to be,
everywhere.
you're going to be emailing. You're going to be emailing me after to say, could you take that part out? Could you edit that part?
Yeah. Well, Brian, we'll only have 30 seconds left.
That's right.
Oh,
there won't be enough to salvage after that. Well, how did you recall how the band came to sign with Cadet Concept? That was an offshoot of Chess Records.
yes, that's got I think that's got Beatle connections, because there's a guy, a Liverpool guy. We went through a few managers, and we ended up with this guy his wife used to go to the Cavern.
Oh.
And same as our Bernadette, there was a gang at the front row, girls all knew each other and that, and she was still friends with Tony, George Harrison's Betty mate. He died only about a year or two ago. Tony
Bramwell.
That's him.
Yep,
yeah. Yep. So she was friends with Tony Bramwell, and Tony Bramwell knew my sister. So it was all knowing people, wheels within wheels.
Okay.
And that led to the Warners thing.
Oh, all right. All
but
right.
Only once again, shooting myself in the foot, I've got to tell you about the end of that manager.
Okay.
Mainly because it's once again, the passing of time. This couldn't happen now. Because and also it's mathematical odds, so it's all thrown in for you folks. Right, the first time I'd been to America, and went to LA, and we were staying at that the Riot House, the Hyatt House on Sunset. It's where all the people throwing televisions out the window, and I wasn't the only bad guy. But there, actually, I got in the lift with Ray Davies there. And he was one of my top idols. Thought, what a writer, So I get in the lift with just me and my top idol. And this is your big chance, isn't it? So I said, all right. And he said, yeah. And that was it.
And that was all.
When you just can't, like the singing thing, when you're caught on the spot and you're not ready for it.
Right.
Why didn't I say?
I don't remember who it was and I'm sure he wouldn't want me to bring this up. Who was I talked to? But he was in the same. He walked into a store and Paul McCartney was there, and he couldn't bring himself. Oh, he was too nervous to go up and talk to him. So he said that was an opportunity missed right there. At the time. Wow. Well.
Can you do another one, Greg, while it's in my head?
Sure.
I got mileage out of Joe Cocker because the similarities and that. And when he'd only just done Margarine.
Okay.
His first single as Joe Cocker. Well, he did a Beatles cover before that, but that was not even worth mentioning. It was his first minor hit, and he was doing a club in Liverpool. And obviously we went. This just shows the passage of time. When they finished the spot, and there's Joe folding up the mic leads. When you think what's happened since then, Woodstock and everything, and Mad Dogs and Englishmen. So there's Joe folding up the leads. And I came out with my classic line again. Great, Dan. he equaled me. He said, thanks. That was the end of that conversation. But I just think of him fold up, because everybody starts, folding up the
That's
mic.
right. That's right.
You hope to progress from that.
Right. You do. You have to do your own folding at that time, right? Yeah. Well, Status Quo had some of their early singles also on Cadet Concept. I noticed that looking at the label. So, well, the first time I came across Colonel Bagshot, and I think I sent you through Facebook, was this compilation. I'll hold that up there. The Electric Asylum.
There's one track on it, isn't it?
Yeah, Volume 5, Rare British Freak Rock is what they called it, Freak Rock. And it's One Look in Her Eyes.
Oh, no.
Oh, why do you say that? One look in her.
That's what I mean when people find these things. Oh.
You don't like that song?
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Really? Well, I'll just detract.
As bad as Elkie Brooks chips.
Oh, is that right? Well, I won't comment on that because I happen to like it, so I won't say anything. I won't go there.
Thank you very much. Just don't play it.
Okay. No, we're not going to do that. But that was actually the B-side to Georgia Fireball.
Yeah,
the single. Yes. Okay, well that's interesting because I won't say that then. What I was going to
do a little one about that about Joe Cocker, about Georgia Fireball. That was the first sort of proper single we did. And I remember dashing home to the pub because it was going to be on like a local news thing, and we wanted to hear that. And then decades later, we had a show here called Stars in Their Eyes. You're bound to have had the equivalent in the States.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And I did that as Joe Cocker made a bit mainly. Well, I just did it anyway, you know. And while we're waiting to do the recording, the host of that local news show happened to be in the vicinity, you know, in the studio. His name was Bob Greaves, and I thought, I'm not going to miss this chance. I've missed Ray Davies and I've missed Joe Cocker. I'm going to get it. Hi, Bob. I said, you don't know me from Adam. I said, but we did your show. So I sort of told him the thing is that you haven't by any chance got a video of it. And he very quietly said, they didn't have video in those days. Oh, thanks, Bob. Yeah. You didn't have video then. Oh,
well, that was worth a shot anyway.
Yeah.
At least you got to say a few words that time.
Yeah.
Right. You brought yourself.
He's most probably still talking about it now.
Probably, yeah, right. Scratching his head. What do you recall the recording sessions for "Oh What a Lovely War"?
Not a thing.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Well, you know what I said about this mystery tape that's turned up? And I said, well, I haven't got a clue where we did it, why we did it, or anything. So I thought there's a couple of numbers there that went. The only thing I can suggest is, it wouldn't have been done as demos for the Warner Brothers thing, but I think put it forward as that few suggestions of numbers, but I really don't know. But it's quite exciting because, you know, lost for over half a century. Right. Oh yeah, and then the guy, I've never met him, but the engineer who's doing the mixing, he got them, said thanks, I've received them and all that, and I said, I don't know what I've heard. I don't know about the procedure of baking them.
Okay,
you hear that? Well, he baked them anyway, and it worked. Yeah. So once again, like the discovery thing, you couldn't do that now. And if you said to the kids now, we bake, what do you mean in the oven? Yeah, in the oven.
In the oven, yeah, and you put them on the sill to cool down, right? Up on the windows. Yeah. No. Yeah, they don't have any concept. You're right. They don't have any idea about that. No. Well, you penned several tracks for the band, but 6 Day War may be the most popular and recognized.
Well, I wrote everything but one track.
Okay, but just one. Okay. And I love the line, tomorrow never comes until it's too late.
Honestly, you would not believe well, now it's like a stupid number of covers and versions, and some of them are so off on a tangent. In fact, one do you remember, Maz, what that one, a modern, there are loads and loads and loads, but there's no.
Are you DJ Shadow, is that one?
You know about Mehmet Orhan, the Turkish DJ? He's had something like 344 million hits on one version of it.
Wow, just one.
4 million.
Yeah.
I got 20p for that.
There's something not right about that, is there?
It's
No.
well, everyone thinks, Greg, everyone thinks I'm a millionaire.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a funny stage when, you know, you get a bit annoyed with that, everyone thinking you're a millionaire. So I put a couple of things on Facebook. I said, I looked out the window this morning. I said, I'd just been to the online and I ordered the top line Mercedes and all that. I said, I looked out the window this morning and I realized I've already got one. Absolute nonsense. But I thought, if people want to hear crap, I'll
Right, right.
Yeah.
You're
And one
so
thing
good.
I said, I was thinking of buying Wales
Yeah.
as a holiday home.
Yes.
But alas, it was not to be.
Yeah. Well, you should try to buy Greenland now. I think it's up for sale.
No,
according to our president. Yeah.
I don't wish to do business with Donald. I'm sorry.
No.
I want to find out if I'm up against Elon as well.
So. Oh, right. What a mess our country's in. But we won't go down that route.
Frightening. It really is, isn't it?
It's very, very much is. The invasion of LA now. It's really, I mean, he's gone full fascist mode right now. Yeah, he really is. He wants to be a dictator.
And these laws, like nobody can object to me, kind of thing, and overall
he just surrounded himself with yes men. You know, yes men and women. They won't stand up to him. They won't stand up to him. Yeah. So it's really a sad. All we can hope for is the midterm elections, which is coming up next year. Right now, the Democrats are in the minority, and but at that time, I mean, the tide is turning, and there's enough opposition that hopefully they will get the majority members in there, and then they can impeach him. Hopefully, that's what we're looking for.
Don't hold your breath. I hope.
I know. He can still resist that too. I mean, he's defying all laws and everything right now. So
wouldn't think of standing yourself. I'll vote for you.
Yeah. Yes, I know. But anyway, back to the music. I was going to say that I like the album version. I really do. But then there's also a longer version. I don't know what release it's on with the full band. It's about 5 minutes.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that was not that long after it was out, and it was Bagshot's. But after 20, 30, after decades had passed, we sort of did it again. I do like that one myself.
Yes.
I would put that one top.
With the trudging drums and the soldiers marching. It's
different lyrics to it.
Yeah, it does have different. So that's a nice version too. But as far as the album goes, see if I can jar your memory a little bit, maybe get your comments. I like the guitar riff in Lord High Human Being.
I think that's the second best number on it. Okay. I mean, there's things on it that really make me cringe, like the chips and the Yo Happy Day. And yet, bizarrely, your time changes your own viewpoint and other people's. I mean, like my biggest cringe on it was Lay It Down. And so the other day, somebody was saying, I just love Lay It Down. You can't deny people an opinion.
No. Everybody has their own. Oh, good. That's not one that I had as a favorite. Okay.
Yeah. Lord High Human Being second, then maybe Headhunters third. And of course, I'm leaving out Kenny's track on it. I've Seen the Light.
Oh, I've Seen the Light is the next one I was going to bring up. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Seen the Light on there.
I didn't write that. Kenny wrote that.
Okay. That's the one you didn't write on there. Yeah. And then Sometimes to me has a bit of a Beatles feel.
Well, that has been covered by an Italian guy, a modern guy. But the way they do things now, it was, I wrote it, but you think things are wrong for you. I mean, you can't imagine Joe Cocker singing that, can you?
No, you can't.
But so the drummer sang it. It was the only thing he sang. I think he did the correct job.
Yes.
But this Italian guy, Marco Pepe, he's used the original track with Terry singing, and made it a modern thing. But you know what's great? So we wind Terry up, saying, yeah, oh, your latest Italian release and that. And Terry's one of the guys I was going to put forward to you because he's got some fabulous yarns. He's 80, still playing, so in line for the Hendrix job. But
okay.
he was he abroad at the time and he couldn't get. But they only said there's this guy, a Yank, because he was just, like George Harrison was just a bloke. Well, Jimi Hendrix was just an over,
He was a girl. He was a girl at the time. He was a female at the time. You said abroad. He was abroad. I'm sorry. That's my sense of humor.
And these days you'd go with that, yeah.
Right.
Transgender drummer. I might say to Terry, I better warn you, he thinks you're transgender.
Oh.
Oh yeah, but he's got some great accidental stories like that.
Well, that would be, put my name forward, definitely. Yeah, that would be. Well, another couple of tracks. That's what I'd like to know. I like that one. I like.
Yeah, that seems to be really well. There's another version of you that might have heard that in the Warners stuff. Yeah, it's more in that sort of psychedelic period.
Then also Smile. I think that's one of the best tracks, in my opinion.
I agree with you. And I don't know if you've heard on the web there, I've put like a modern drum thing over.
Yes, I have heard. Yes, I have.
It stands it. It can stand it,
Yeah.
Because I'm just, you please yourself. You either reject the technology or you accept it. I adore it, I'm afraid.
Right.
Because you're living your dreams. I mean, I can easily remember burning your first CD. You think, wow, I've done that. I've burned the thing. And we've progressed a little bit since then, haven't we?
Yes. But that's going back to that whole, it was an experience, and it's something that we're lacking today. You've got to see that all happen. Today we just click on,
one button, I've got a full orchestra.
That's right. The technology, it's just right there at our fingertips. Something about having to go through.
Old though, Greg. Like now, I've got, well, on a bit of a negative note, I've had cancer things going on. I've still got it going at the moment, and so your world's shrinking all the time, but it's a good way to carry on living your dreams, from home and that. And I adore the things that you can do.
Right. Oh, I do too. There's definitely the upside to it. You're very, very right about that.
If you want to accept that. I mean, a lot of people are very stick in the mud and saying, I'm not playing those cassettes. All that.
Exactly.
Kids know what a cassette was, and you go, what?
Yeah. Right. Well, I remember cassette 8-track. 8 tracks. Remember 8 tracks? I remember when CDs, they stopped making computers that would play CDs. That's not been too long ago, So it's like I got one of the final HP Hewlett Packards that had a CD player, and now if you go, you can't get any. There's none with a CD player. So I hang on to that one, so I can play the CDs on
artificial intelligence. Now we mean you can write your lyrics. Well, everything. Yeah. When I was, I'm being straight with you now. When I was middle teens and I used to have a blow up doll. Now Maz isn't. You didn't think Maz was real, did you? She's created. She's done that. Yeah. Right. She even answers me back. She's like a real woman.
Yeah. Oh, I thought she was AI. I thought she was artificial.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but you just know that. You just waited for me to tell you to sound smart.
That's right. Hey, the gig is up now. I'm going to go through, when I do my editing, I'm going to AI you. So I'm going to turn you into artificial, an image of yourself. Yeah. Right. I'm going to do that.
Remember that Max Headroom? That was a good.
Yes. Oh, I definitely remember that. Yes, definitely remember that. The whole, technology started to take off at that point. Well, and then one final track, you probably heard this before, but the last track, Oh, What a Lovely War, that reminds me of I Am the Walrus.
I've never heard that
You've
before.
never heard that before.
I wish it was even a little fraction of that. But being honest, I mean, there was a lot of work went into Walrus.
Yeah.
Ours is very basic, but I'd love to think that.
Well, there's a little bit when you go back and listen to it again, and I hear that something about the track that's not the whole song, but there's elements of it that sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why did the band call it a day?
I can virtually remember the night of the thing. It was all the horrible primeval things of like youth, ego, but more not hormonal, but you know the things like I don't. You only speak for yourself, can't you? The living experience, but you know you can be not unstable, but you're going through lots of changes yourself, aren't you? With you know, insecurities, blah blah. But it was me and Kenny was like a bus stop at the managers' club, bizarrely enough. And that was it. We saw, but we're still, I mean, we're still in touch now. Me and Terry particularly. But just back to, I'm just thinking of yarns. I was going to tell you one when I mentioned the managers' club. I've got to tell you about the first trip to the States because this, as I said, this couldn't happen now. We and it ties in with what we're talking about right now because we went to the States and something happened to the manager there. You're only hearing my side, but I think he was out of his depth. I think he was going in there and like, I've got the next Beatles, you know, and he was meeting the big guys and the thingies, and I don't think it washed with them. But you're only hearing my side of that. But because he went a bit funny, and it ended up before I was going in to record these tracks, just north of Los Angeles. And he was a big guy, this manager, and he gave me a dressing down like a little boy. You drunken pisshead thing, which he was right about that. You drunken pisshead, tell me off. So just in a way, just to spite him, when I went in for the recordings, I had a cup of coffee, you know, no, just to prove him wrong, you know, there wasn't anything. But it was too late. The damage was done. We'd had that big argument. Then we were like two little children, you know, not speaking and all that. So we get the plane home and he books a seat at the back of the plane. I've got a seat at the front of the plane. That's it, like little kids, you know.
Yes.
That's what it gets freaky from now. So we're sitting there. I'm next to an older couple, about my age now, and three of us in the row like that. And we take off, and I'm just talking to them. And they've been doing theme parks and things like that, and brought things home for the grandchildren. And they're showing me some of the things. And one of them was they had fruit there, they had a banana, and they had a stick-on tap or something like that. I think it might have been a tap, it doesn't matter. And they're showing me these, and plane takes off, and not far into the flight, the stewardess opens the gate and said, Brian, Colonel Bagshot. I mean, we weren't that big, so the odds of that happening are phenomenal, you know.
Yes.
So she invites me into the cubicle behind their kitchen kind of thing, where they've got a wicker basket of small miniatures of scotch.
Oh, you're in trouble.
The devil is out. So I have a liberal helping, shall we say, and that's as opposed to beer like scotch. Wow.
Oh yeah.
So I come back, and what's standard fare for every drunk? Well, first of all, your kit comes off, doesn't it? So I'm on the plane, down to my undies, and I grab some stuff out this old folks thing. I grab the tap, stick it on my forehead, the banana as a gun. And when the next stewardess comes along, I jump up my seat, get around the neck, say, fly me to Cuba.
Oh, did you?
Oh, imagine this happening now. That'd be shot. That'd be tied up and thingy. So
Yeah.
I march the stewardess the length of the plane because I'm gone. I'm being everything that he said about me is true, you know. So I marched the stewardess the length of the plane with the banana to her head,
Yeah.
and I get to the manager, and he's pretending I don't exist, but also would love to kill me, and everything. And wow, just looking at him, so like sobered me up. It's like in an instant, like, blown it again. You know? So I went, but these days, you wouldn't be laughing about that. I'd been tied up.
You would
have diverted the plane somewhere.
Right. They would have had you on the ground with your hands shackled.
Yeah.
They were,
So,
those things don't fly these days at all. Speaking of flying,
You're taking a risk interviewing me.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yes, even that we weren't finished then from Liverpool, from Heathrow or Gatwick, whichever it was, be Heathrow, wouldn't it? Yeah. And then we had to get the train to Liverpool. So we got the train, separate carriages, one way round or the other. He got off the stop before Liverpool, and I got off that one way or the other. You know, like little kids. I've seen him since. I think he's a tax exile in the Isle of Man now, a little island off the UK. But there's been quite a few things happened, Greg.
Yes.
How I've got this far, I'm not sure. Neither are you, are you, man?
You've reached the point of no return now.
Yeah.
Well, in '74, you released a single, England, and Meet You Again was the B-side.
Yeah. What a buzz that was, because we did most of that by phone and technology, phoning people up on this telephone. You've had them, haven't you? Telephone things.
The ones you had to dial,
Yeah. What a buzz, Greg. I walked in to, I think it was Air Studios, I'm not sure, it doesn't matter. I walked in and it was I always remember these figures, but I get them right. It was either a 56-piece orchestra and a 26 and a 28-piece choir, or the numbers maybe the other way. But something you've done on a piano I bought for £8 at home, and you walk in to they'd all been arranged, and you go, wow. If I die now, I've done that,
Yes.
But then coming back with that, it was too straight because I was in like another rock band thing then. So I tried to keep that quiet because
you play that down. Yeah.
Well, nice experience,
Yeah. Well, what did the other members do post Colonel Bagshot?
They carried on, first of all, as a band called Nickelodeon. Then they wanted more yarns. Then they wanted another lead thingy. So they happened to come across this girl from London who was like the rock chick thing. And you've got to get Terry on. Yarns. I could fill a book with yarns about her. She made me seem like a priest. And the stories about her. I mean, I've met her a few times. I didn't know her. I've met them a few times and all that. But I'm in bulk. When I hear the stories about her, I'm hooting. Even when you weren't there, really funny. Yes. So if we get Terry on, he'll give you all the stories.
I look forward to that. I hope that we can do that.
Yeah, Bunny they were called. They had one release. But Kenny wrote that. And Kenny, because he was only one step behind me, he married her, which, God, that was more stories. Can I throw another quick one about Kenny?
Sure.
It's a real story. We were playing, as the 4-piece, we were playing Bitburg, small place and things. You do places for a fortnight and that, but it was in the wild days, and there was an American base there. So, they introduced us to weed and everything. So we were coming back from there one night. You still have that survival thing, even when we've had like 14 pints of beer and 3 pints of everything. There's still a thing in you that goes, I will get home. I went on automatic pilot trudging home, and there was the place we were staying was in a row of shops, and there was an alleyway down the center. So I went down the alleyway, and they had those sliding shop windows, you know, that have a lock on them, and you can slide, ginormous ones. So when you've had all that, the horns are out again on you, so we're all locked. And I only did that about 3 times. It snapped off.
Oh, no.
Oh, evil. Now, the shop it wasn't trendy. It was like an old woman's clothes shop, you know. It doesn't matter when you've had 84 pints and they join you. So I got in the window because it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and it's dark and it's all exciting, you know. So I'm in the shop window just because it's naughty, you know.
Right.
What I didn't know was that Kenny had left the thing like 10 minutes behind me.
Yeah.
Another zombie coming down. And he didn't know. And I didn't even see him. And he got in the shop window behind me. Could have given me a heart attack if I had comatose anyway, you know. This actually happened because this sounds unbelievable. We're both in the shop window and they're like, ooh, and we heard police sirens.
Oh no.
And we didn't have a chance, but without a single word passing between us, we both went
mannequin.
Yeah. Without a single word between us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
did the police come in?
No, they weren't going there.
They weren't going there.
No, they weren't going there. And then when we were on the way home or going to another country, on the Luxembourg border, I know that the customs guy stopped us, and 2 things in there. They had I had these pumps, I don't know what you call them, and I had a little bit of weed in the toe cap of one, and they said, like, throw your bags on the custom thing. And this guy, the customs guy, an older guy, he picked up as if he knew. He picked up straight to my boot
he went right there
without rummaging, held it up in front of me like that and went, "You know what we're looking for?
Yeah.
I just want to die." And put it back.
Oh, did he? Wow.
It wasn't finished there.
Yeah.
The other mate was up in the other case, and there's all these old women's clothes. And he just looked at his other mate.
Did he?
Yeah, once he didn't say anything, he just amused and packed it. So lucky.
Yeah, yes. Right.
But then again, it wasn't as heavy then, you know. It wasn't
right.
Struggling then. And even wearing women's clothes wasn't as heavy.
Right.
Which weren't, by the way. It's just because they, you know.
Yeah. Well, he just lets you know that he was right. The shop. He just lets you know that he was on to you. He knew.
That was it. Yeah. Don't think
well, I have to ask you about your 1980 single, a new version of 6 Day War. Do you remember what the B-side was to that 1980 single, 6 Day War? Do you remember the B-side?
I hope we're not talking about this. What color's the label?
What color is the label?
Was it released on a label?
Hang on. It's not, I don't think it was an actual label.
Was it Transcendental Theological? I was betting that.
That's what I wanted to ask you if you remembered that. Yes.
I remember that. Because you know why, don't you? Initials stand for.
The initials, yes.
Yeah. But I mentioned that to Maz very recently. I mean, that was, technology. I'm releasing my own single.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
And I thought, well, yeah, but there's a bit more into it, isn't it? You got to have a label, you got to have promotion, you got to do. Oh, I don't want to do all that stuff. So my mother had said, I thought I'll just get, I don't know, I can't remember the thing. If I just get 500 of them, and my mother said something like, no, it's going to be a worldwide hit, and that get 2,000. I'm making the figures up. There's something like that, you know. I ended up going to the tipping these things. I've still got a couple though. I'm moving at the moment, and we found about 3 or 4.
But that is so creative, transcendental, inverted, theological scrolls.
It's for anyone that didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, good memory there. Good memory. Oh wow. Well,
you came out with that. I Can you feel the trepidation? He's not going to, is he? He hasn't found that, has he?
I do my research.
Yeah.
Well, and I just want to mention a few of the reissues. In 2012 and 2016, the label Flawed Gems released CD copies of the original album. They were unofficial releases. There's been a few unofficial, yes.
Thieves, is that the word you're looking for?
Yes.
Parasites, is that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe that. Yeah, but then the Sealy Court, which I mentioned in the intro, vinyl release, and I knew, and Sealy Court, that rang a bell when I saw that. I interviewed Roger Knott. Does that name ring a bell? Roger Knott, Knott, Roger. He was in the Prague folk band Lifeblood.
Yeah.
Lifeblud, Lifeblood. And they had like 3 albums on that Sealy Court in recent years. So he was recording around that same time.
That's with Caliban, I think.
Yeah, that's another one. Yes, Caliban. Yes.
I don't know how. I mean, did you get in touch with me? I presume that would be.
Yes, I did. And the more of these I do, the more commonalities, common threads, like you said. You mentioned 2 or 3.
Oh, I've got to give you these 2 guys at least.
Yes. Well, then there was a vinyl release on Cosmic Rock, and then there's been a couple of others, as well. CD and vinyl reissues of the album. That's the other one. But I want to mention real quickly here. I listened to some of the tracks, your more recent ones, on your YouTube channel. Living for a Saturday Night. I like that. That one kind of has a glam rock feel to it, to me.
Can I tell you, because that's a story in itself.
Sure.
I did that. Look Like a Lady and another It Ain't Easy in England. Have you ever heard the name Big Jim Sullivan?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, right.
You see the number of hits he's been on.
Right. He's another one of those.
Stupid number. He's absolute top man,
Right. Studio musician. Yes.
But the band was another 2 characters called Chaz and Dave. They had a 30-year career, but that was before they were Chaz and Dave.
Yeah, right.
And, especially, they're both. I was listening to Dave Peacock the other day playing the ukulele. He's the bass player, top class, really top class. And of course, Chaz, he died now, but he played with Head, Hands and Feet, and also they were top musos, So it was a little band that to be doing my stuff, But once again, that Living for a Saturday Night, all I had of that was a cassette. And I think a Woolworth cassette,
Yes, we had Woolworth.
The things I did went on that first American trip. I did one Randy Newman number, which Joe Cocker did after me, which was a novelty.
Did he?
Because of me. And another one by an Australian guy, but all I had was a less than a Woolworth. So,
yeah.
What's your version of Asda? You mentioned your superstore, Walmart.
Walmart, yeah.
Their cheapo tapes. It was on there.
Oh yeah.
And you can't get those moments back,
No, you can't.
Jay Sent, I remember, was the producer, and he did that "I Am Woman" by
Helen Reddy.
Yep. The guy knows his stuff.
Yeah. She died not too long ago. She passed away, Helen.
There's people dying now haven't died before.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And then recently, Brian Wilson, just a couple of days ago. Brian. Yeah.
That list is longer and longer.
Oh, it is. And then Sly Stone.
Yeah.
Was a day or so before that. Yeah. So wow. They say they come in.
They come in. Increase, isn't it, Greg?
So. Yeah. It's. The odds. The longer you live. It's going to happen. That's why I told somebody.
Why you wanted to get this quick?
Several. Right. I needed to get you guys while I can before it's too late. I wish I'd started doing this about 20 years ago. I wish I had started doing this, you know.
Oh, I don't tell you about your site. You could spend, if you've got the time, you could spend your week just
right. Well, this has all been. I wish more guests were like you. I have to say that, Brian. Seriously, you know, it's very entertaining. Yeah. Now you're turning all red. Yeah, you're all red, right?
Oh,
no, it's some are. I've had to like coerce them into doing it. I can tell, and they're not real comfortable in front of a camera. You can kind of get that feeling, you know.
Yeah.
So they're a little uptight, right? But then
yeah, no, that's not relevant really, though.
Yeah. No, but then
if you're not bothered by that, you can't understand people that are.
Right. Well, you know, I'm a very reticent, shy person myself. I really am, and I surprised myself that I started doing these. You know,
some people don't like music, Greg. Serious, that's not a gag.
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine that. Because I love it. I love it. You know.
Yeah, you might be mad on it, and you might not like this and not like that, but not like music.
Right. I don't understand that. I really can't. Myself. I can't. But anyway, a couple of other tracks that I like listening. Drifting Along. I like that one. Yeah. And then
your Prince's Court Waltz.
I'm sorry?
Prince's Court at Princes COURT Waltz. It's one I think it's maybe got the most hits of one of those of mine. And it's about the mostly thing.
Oh yeah, now I know what you're talking about. Yes. I thought you were talking about a place, a location. Yes. That I like that one as well. Yes, I did hear that one. And then Dirty Old Town, a song about Liverpool, right? I thought when I first saw that, I was thinking of the Pogues. They have a song, Dirty Old Town, but you spell it differently. You have the E, O-L-E.
Yeah, well, I realized that was dodgy because of
yes.
It was the folk singer, the Pogues one, who wrote it.
Yes, he passed away, the lead singer, not long ago too.
The Pogues and the guy that wrote it.
Yeah, yes. Oh yes. Who was the one that wrote that? Dirty Old. You know, I'm going to look this up real quick just so we know. Let's see. Dirty Old Town, sung by the Pogues, but who wrote that? Yeah, it was somebody. I'll edit this part out for sure. Oh, Ewan McCall. Yes, of course. Yeah, that's it. And then and
well, not Aretha Franklin or a soul number. He also did.
Yes. What was it?
Look up, Anthony.
We'll come back to it after this. We're done. You'll remember it. Yeah, you know. And then Portuguese Dress. That's nice. I like that one.
I like.
It's a Portuguese.
That's what I meant about real, Greg. I bought her a Portuguese dress. It's all about the lads in the flat that we're in. It's all real.
Well.
Yeah, and she's
right. I was going to say it'll never keep you warm. You know. That's right. I like that. I like that line.
A lot of hits. When I'm falling. You don't.
Oh, did you ask me something? Are you?
Yeah. Well, there's one I put on that people seem to like called "When I'm Falling."
Oh, I thought you were just trying to remember something when you said about a line of the song. Oh, When I'm Falling, that one. I'll have to go back and listen. I don't know if I heard that one. I'll have to go back and listen. You have quite a few.
Well, we started the other week compiling, and as time's going by, what number did we come back? 80 numbers or something?
Oh yeah, there's quite a. You have 200 and something on there. I think it was songs that you. It may be older tracks too. Some of the Colonel Bagshot too.
And I lost an awful lot after when I first started posting them with on YouTube. you know, because you can't be bothered with the video side. So I
Yeah.
just grab some video, and then
Yeah.
you get done for copyright. And
Oh, tell me about it.
his work, you just wipe.
Tell me about it. I have another channel where I post songs from just various artists, musicians, you know, and I got copyright, you know, several times. In fact, I got taken down the first time I had that up. Probably I was up for maybe 2 or 3 years, and I got so many strikes that they took me down. I was knocked off. I came back on. I reposted everything again. You know, the ones that were not marked, right? That were not
But
strikes.
they're living off other people's stuff. And
Yeah, they are.
you
You
for
know,
using
and
people's
and so you know the thing is, it's the labels, it's the record companies that are the ones that are against, you know, that have problems. If you talk,
out, Greg, aren't they? Record labels.
right, if I asked individual the songwriters or the bands, would you mind if I put this up on YouTube? Most of them wouldn't have a problem with it. You know, it's just the label. It's the big shots. You know, that want to do that. But anyway, so now I've had 2 or 3 strikes, and it's still active. It's still going, but they haven't. You know, they haven't taken it down again. They haven't. You know, it's still active. So you know, I'll just keep doing that. But yeah.
You know the we were talking about 6 Day War before and all the versions. Do you know about the Kanye West one?
No, I don't know that version. No.
That was the released it, and they used it for the video game Call of Duty, which apparently is a ginormous.
Oh, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's on there, huh? They use that for the Call of Duty. Huh.
Yeah.
It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That's the full thing of it.
And then 2 or 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 or 3.
I'll have to ask my son about that. He's a gamer. Yeah.
Well, this is it.
Yeah.
But it's a very popular one that they do. But you got asked for the music for it.
Yeah. Okay.
There's so much politics in it. I mean, there's one version by some guy from your side or some rapper. You know, I don't know all the names and all that. And it's just like 6 Day War, and at the end he goes, "Yeah."
Pusha T.
He gets a credit for that.
And he gets a credit for that. Yeah. Who was it? DJ Shadow. That's one that I recognized on that.
And then it was in the Fast and the Furious.
Okay.
I met him in Liverpool, you know, Greg. He was doing a university thing, DJ Shadow. God, no, this would be going back.
Yeah.
I don't know now, say 10 years, 15 years. He was doing the university, so I went down in the afternoon, and the security guys there said, "Excuse me, the guy you've got on here tonight is this single he's got, and I wrote it, you know." Okay, hang on there, mate. So I don't know what happened then. Most of me went up and said, "Shadow, there's some funny owl fella at the front door." Says he wrote it. But give him his due. I went that night, and his manager was there, and they gave me a VIP seat in the balcony and all that. And some things don't change because, I mean, they streamed in. It's like a rock concert. It's a fella with a turntable.
Right.
But even just like the old cabaret days, he says, "You're all familiar with 6 Days." Yeah. Well, the guy that wrote that from Liverpool, and he's in the balcony tonight. And my son was there. So, you know, it's nice to be acknowledged, you know.
That's right.
I had a photo taken with him. I said, "There's just one thing. I'm very grateful, but I'd like to know, how did you come across it?" He said he was in a secondhand record shop in California somewhere. And he said, "I'm just going through the thing." He said, "Oh, I like the look of that. Just like the look of the cover." So we played it, and he played that track. Otherwise, nothing might have happened. You wouldn't be on air now to me.
Right. Isn't that something?
Bit better than the fish and chips on the head.
Right. Yeah. That's how I picked up on a lot of vinyl in the past, just by the look of the cover. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really did. And it looks interesting. And usually the music, you know, was good, you know, was up my alley, you know, just from the look of the cover, you know, I could tell I was going to like it. So yeah, I discovered a lot like that. Well, Can you think, Brian, of anything else and kind of coming to a close here that you'd like to bring up or mention or?
No, I think we've covered everything that's.
Oh, there's a lot more stories.
I think we've had enough confessions.
I was going to say, I know you have a lot more stories in there.
Well, Terry will throw it. Terry will be great to interview. So I'll be passing that on. The other one I'm going to send it to is a sax player who's, well, I'll let you, he spent nearly all his time in Germany now, called Albie Donnelly. If you want to do the start and looking that up, in a band called Supercharge. So,
okay, yeah.
They must have been. I mean, he's the main figure. He uses people all the time, but gathers his band. But he must have been going under that name now for 50 years or more.
Okay. Let me see. Is that right? Supercharge. Let's see here. Yeah, you've got to get up and dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. From Liverpool. Abel Donnelly. Albie, not Abel. I misread it. Albie Donnelly. Yeah. And Dave.
Onassis. Who's the daughter?
Christina.
Yeah. Like they played at their wedding and.
Okay.
But stories like that.
Oh, that would be fascinating. Yeah. I'm reading a little bit right here. Yeah, that would be. Yeah. Put in a good word for it. All right. Well,
yeah. Well, you could do friend requests to both of them on Facebook for the first thing.
Okay.
And I'll send emails. If you send a friend request, it'll come up under Greg Shanks, won't it?
Yes.
So I'll send emails to both of them.
Yeah, warn them ahead of time. Like, watch out for this guy. He's
and don't confess. There's been enough. When does this go live then, Greg?
This will probably be next weekend. I'll have it edited and posted by next weekend. I'll do these like on a Saturday. And then the following weekend is when I do the editing and post it. So I would say by next weekend. Yeah, it should be. And then I will send you a copy of it, so you'll have your copy, and you can post it wherever you'd like to. And then it will be on my channel. It'll be on my YouTube channel.
Well, I can send that to the two people I'm talking about.
There you go. You can send it to them too, and see, so they can see my handiwork, right?
There'll be more cats out my back.
Right. But I have to say, Brian, it's been extremely enjoyable. You're very comfortable in front of a camera, and I like that. Makes it easy for me. I don't have to pry information out of you, so.
Called Big Mouth.
Is that what
most of the story is about.
Is that what it is? Okay. No.
Please forgive me, Lord.
No, you have a lot of stories, so I appreciate that. And I will get you that copy. And anybody else along the way, feel free that you think of, if you can think of.
Oh, yeah, there are quite a few, but they're the two that sprang to mind.
Okay.
And as I said, I've already sounded out Terry about it. And he'll be great. And he's a fabulous guy as well. He'll come across nice.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
All right. You're very welcome. All the best to you. Okay. To both
You'll hear
of you.
from me, Des. Bye.
All right.